Is that better? Can you hear me? You there? Can you hear me? Jovan? You guys got audio now? Check and make sure everything's working right. Anybody got audio? Can you hear me now? Yes. No volume. Better. Is this a yes, we have volume now, or no, we still are struggling? Works now. Great. So let me start over. So this last week we were traveling and it was crazy. Tuesday we flew to Phoenix and connected with some agents in Phoenix. At 8:30 we finished up there. At 3 a.m. got up, flew to Chicago, tons of weather. And we finished up about 10 o'clock at night there. And it was nuts because they canceled our 10 o'clock flight. We have another gig in Cincinnati the next morning. And it was nuts because we had no way to get there. Our flights were canceled, no more flights out, no way to get out in the morning. So we rented a minivan and drove till 3:30 in the morning, show up in Cincinnati, and had about 50 people there, 50 people in Chicago. Great events, guys. It was so awesome. One thing you need to do is jump on Instagram and go follow Tessa Bella and Paige Steckling. Also, Red Suit Realtor. That's who we traveled with. They're part of our team. Awesome people. I'm going to have Tessa Bella as well as Paige do a long form video for YouTube talking to you guys about social media and how social media can impact your business in a huge way. So excited for you guys to see some of that and be able to tap into that social media atmosphere. But guys, massive week. We wrapped up around 8:30 in Louisville, Kentucky. Went and watched some March Madness Thursday night, and then I flew home Friday morning. So here we are again, ready to dive back into some of the things that are impactful. Guys, the business right now, I don't know that I've ever seen a time where you can get out and make as much money as you can right now. So there's lots of opportunities, lots of room for growth. And that being said, we're getting so much stuff out of LA area on the 25th of April. We're going to be in LA, and I'm bringing Tessa Bella with me to do a social media prospecting and sales seminar. Any of you guys out there in my LA area, make sure you go and sign up for this course in LA. It's going to be fabulous. And so you can go right to my website now. We've got a lot of our freemiums are all on there now. You can also sign up for our events through Eventbrite on my website. So I don't need to send links to you anymore. Just go to reald2d.com, go down to the events part of it, sign up for the events. We have also set up an event in Florida. So I'm going to be in Orlando, Florida, and that one's going to be in about 10 days. I believe April 9th is the day we're going to be there. So sign up for that event. We're going to be there live, free. I've got another social media icon there, Cassidy, that's going to be talking a lot about social media. So we're combining these fields because social media is bringing a ton of business to agents. And if you can get out and prospect while your social media is working, you're going to see some massive success. Prospecting by banging on those doors, getting in front of people, and then getting out there and using your social media skills to market your success and bring in more business. You're going to see crazy success. We've got a question on Instagram. Go ahead. Type it out, and I will pull it up and respond to it. But guys, yes, you've got to connect. I'm also going to do a question-based selling course. So for anyone that wants to take on one of my live question-based selling course, I'm going to do it online. And so it's going to be the 30th of April. Make sure you go sign up for that course as well. And I will have my software team get that on the website, all of these events, and get those up. So any questions you guys have about where your business is at and how I can help you grow? If not, we're just going to dive into some training that I feel like everybody could use right now as we move into the listing side of the process. So getting some messages coming through from DM. Let me pull up a question here. fire away on your questions, guys. I've got questions coming through, and I want to be able to answer everybody's questions and then really, dive in and help you guys with things you might be struggling with, things you want to get more answers to. But yes, there's a lot of good stuff out there. Biggest thing that I'm seeing that I feel like most agents are struggling with is their timelines. And if you are out there right now in your real estate business and you're not hitting your timelines, what does that mean? It means we are March 24th today. What were your timelines? What did you need completed within that first segment of the year? What was your schedule like? How many homes did you need to sell? What is your process? You've got to have a vision, and then you've got to have the insight and intel to know that that vision is being accomplished. So first off, when you put your vision board down and you write your goals, once they're written, they're a responsibility. So you have to then accomplish what you've set out to do. It's your responsibility to hit those goals. Now, if you haven't done it, you got to refocus. So some of the key factors we're going to go over today is how to make sure those goals are hit. You guys know your numbers. How many doors are you knocking a day? What is your success rate from the number of doors you're knocking today? How many people are you talking to? How far are you getting in the process? How many closings are you getting? Nick said, if we close the prospect on the door, do we do a buyer consultation ASAP or schedule it for later that night? Max, great question. So if you're closing on the door, hit next steps. You don't need to do a buyer consultation. You just had it. This is part of how we need to track our numbers. So if you're knocking on the door, you get people, you get them to sign up right then. The next thing I would do, Max, is get them into houses. So if you're closing them on the doorstep like you should be, the next step is let's get you looking at houses. So I want you to send me your top 3 houses that you would love to see. And then are you available to look at houses tonight, or are you available first thing tomorrow? Move them forward in that sales process. So as they start looking at houses, that's when they start to connect with the buying process, the moving process. Everybody wants to buy. Everybody wants the new transition. And so they've got to make those initial steps in their mind, emotional steps to say, I'm doing this. Holy cow, look at this house. I love the kitchen. I can see myself in the backyard having parties and barbecues. Well, Max, let's go see it. Let's get out there and get on the doors or get in this house and let's see it. And if we can get it under contract, I'm going to sell mine this fast. See the difference in transition? So you have to get to the point where you are good at closing them on the door. So Max, that's awesome. You're already finding prospects that you're potentially closing. That should be the goal for everybody when we talk about timelines, is how many people am I then getting to that point in the process? If you're needing to sell 7, 8 people a month, you need to have 40 people in that pipeline. Because in order to get someone from that process of, hey, I'm interested, I want to do this, to I'm committed and under contract, there's a big difference. And you've got to plan for that. So then you also have to plan for, when you talk about timelines and tracking, how many people do I need to talk to before I put them in my pipeline? If you're going out and picking up, out of 250 contacts, 6 or 7 leads, is that going to be enough to put one under contract? If not, we've got to ramp up our numbers, or we got to get better at what we're saying to convert those clients. Max, another question. The whole transaction will be quicker if we get them into the house ASAP, and the listing presentation will be much easier. Max, there is no listing presentation, my man. So if you get them under contract on the buy, there is no listing presentation period. They are eager to get it sold. In fact, they're going to help you price it aggressively because they want that new house. So when you break down your pricing strategies, we can price it 1A, which is very, very high in the market, meaning it's going to take longer to sell. meaning the average days on market is about, and then know your number in your area, let's just say 30. This could take you 45 to 50 days. And oftentimes, if the house doesn't sell and sits on the market, you end up bringing it down and down and down. And sometimes you end up getting below what you would have gotten if you listed it correctly. So option A is we can list high, knowing that it may take longer to sell. Probably not the best idea if we're already under contract on a property. Option B is where we list right at the market. So it's going to take your average days on market. It's going to take a little bit longer to sell if your average days are 30 days. How does that help you? How does that hurt you knowing that you're under contract? Is there any risks to this? How would you feel if we lost that house you're under contract? Would that affect you? Would you be upset? Then option B is probably not the best option either. The last option, and oftentimes is what a lot of clients choose. Now, remember, I work for you. I want you to pick whatever option is best for you. But this option gets things to happen quickly. So we list a little bit below market value. We still want to net you as much as we possibly can. What happens at that point is it draws a lot of attention. So you get a lot of people reaching out to you saying, hey, I want to see this house. This is a good buy. We like this house. If you get multiple offers, that tends to drive it up above option B. And they're going to be aggressive with their timelines because they want to win the offer. Sometimes they'll waive appraisal. Sometimes they'll waive the inspection. Sometimes they'll put hard earnest money down so they have skin in the game that shows you they're serious if there's other competitors. And all of that being said, you can choose whichever one you want to work with. Where do you feel like it would be best to price your house? That's literally the listing presentation, Max, is we're simply talking about pricing. And they're going to pick you every time because you are already helping them on the buy side. You're going to be able to negotiate and handle both so you accomplish both sides of the transaction. Does that make sense? So right now I'd ask you, all the people that are online, we've got a ton of people on Instagram, a lot of people on YouTube. How many of you are ahead of your goals of where you need to be by April? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a high five. If you're not, what things are you changing? How many of you guys are recording your presentations? If you're not recording every day, you're missing a huge opportunity to increase your levels of accountability, number one. Number two, your skill set. So if you can go in and learn from every person you did not close and make it better each and every day, think of how good you're going to be in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year from now. Your presentation is going to be a lot better. You're smoother on your transitions. You don't pause because you've never heard that or thought about it. Oftentimes, many agents are hitting the same rejections or same objections over and over and over, and they don't change anything. If you don't change anything, you're not going to get better. I got to the point where I was closing every 7 doors simply because I was polished. I knew where to take people. I knew what questions to ask. I had the questions memorized. I knew, regardless of what direction they took it, where I would take it. There was no questions in my mind about knocking door to door for real estate. You've got to get that way. Max said, would higher earnest money be the best in a multiple offer situation in your client's home if your client's home is contingent on a sale? Max, I'm going to tell you my thought on earnest money. Earnest money is the biggest joke in the planet. If I'm representing a seller and they bring me a bunch of earnest money, doesn't matter unless it's hard. They can get out. They can do something different. They can pull their money back in 3 weeks if they find a new property. They can find a reason to walk away with earnest money. And so earnest money is just a figure. I don't care if it's $1,500. I don't care if it's $50,000 until it's hard. So don't let that play into your decision-making skills. Make sure that you're simply finding what's going to put the best hooks and claws. I would say tighter timelines on your inspection, tighter timelines on your appraisal, half of the earnest money non-refundable upon acceptance, half non-refundable after due diligence. But that's how I would vet out your buyers if you're in a multiple offer situation. don't stress if they come in and say, oh, I've got $100,000 in earnest money saying we'll buy this. That $100,000 is as good as $1 if they have the ability to back out. Does that make sense, Max? Dude, I love your questions. Keep firing them. Any other questions out there? Biggest thing as we go through all of what most real estate agents struggle with is just the mindset side of this. Ask yourself, every person that's on here right now, how many prospects you spoke to. Your job as a real estate agent is a sales job. Regardless if people tell you we're in a sales industry, we're in a sales industry. This is a sales job. And if you're not speaking to people to be able to convert a sell, you're not working. How many contacts are you making? How many opportunities are you getting per day to say, have you ever thought about buying, selling, or investing in real estate? If you're not having tons of those opportunities, you're not getting better and you're not closing enough deals. 74% of real estate agents in this last year did not close a deal. Crazy. There's a big reason why the majority of real estate agents are failing. And it all goes back to work ethic, to drive, to determination, to checking the boxes, to making sure that each day you've done what's required of you to be a successful agent. This morning I came down, and I almost need to share this. On my computer, I pulled up some stuff that my daughter had built on my computer, and it was a checklist. And it had a checklist for everything she has to do in the morning before she gets on the bus for school. She had a checklist of brush my teeth, make my bed, comb my hair, read my scriptures, feed my animals, because we live on a little farm. And she had a checkbox for each one of them. Now I look at that and say, shouldn't you already know this? You've been doing it day in, day out for how long? And guess what? She still wanted that checkbox. She still wanted to make sure she doesn't forget anything. And I think that's fabulous. How many of you guys as real estate agents are checking off the boxes of what you must accomplish in a day? And that is not just real estate related. That's also personally related. That's also with your families. That's also with, who you want to be as a person. Are you checking those boxes? If you're not good at checking those boxes, make sure you've got someone to hold you accountable to check those boxes. That's where you get success. Don't know if you guys have read the book by Tim Grover about perseverance, I think is what it's called. But he coached Kobe Bryant, Duane Wade, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, I think was one of his clients as well. And even all these big guys that are multimillionaires held a coach to hold them accountable, to help them. And it was a really cool read. So if you haven't read that book, go get it and read it, because it talks about the times that they had to rely on their coach to push them on the days they didn't want to work. The days they would show up at practice and they're like, oh, this is just another day at practice. The days they would show up at the game and not feel well. Back in 1997, yes, I'm old, the Utah Jazz were playing the Bulls. And this is a monumental moment for Michael Jordan, because he showed up with a fever like 103 to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. And with a fever, feeling horrible, he overcame the thought process to get out there and score. And he ultimately, hands down, beat the Utah Jazz to take Game 7. And it's incredible to think back of his mindset and his power and his drive to win. Are you guys willing to put that mindset in place? To have someone hold you accountable if you're not doing it yourself, to get to where you're checking every box every day and watch your income begin to increase. You guys are all CEOs of your business. But the majority of you are spending all of your time that should be done in prospecting on paperwork, on secretarial duties, setting up inspections and appraisals, delivering signs, key boxes. That is not what a CEO would do with their time or their money. You're worth so much more than that. I know a lot of you are thinking, well, I'm not making a lot of money yet. And I'm going to tell you this, you're not making a lot of money yet because you're not doing the things that bring money in. You're struggling to master the art of sales, getting in front of people, connecting, and helping yourself elevate to that next level so that you can then go be successful. Guys, make sure this next week I'm going to come up with a list of things we're going to role play. I'm going to bring some people on live with us next week. I'm going to be in Peru next Monday. Guys, check that out. I'm going to be in Peru, so I'll see how the connection of my service is in case I'm not able to connect. But I will be in Peru doing a service project, helping some of those people that aren't able to help themselves. That's the one thing that I would tell you guys. You are able to help yourselves. You got to just choose to do it. Max, love all your questions. How quickly should we start hiring an admin and showing assistance? Yesterday. There's no reason you should be out showing a house when you can pay someone $25 to show the house for you. Your time is way more valuable than $25 an hour. Go hire a showing assistant. You be the closer. Get out, get in front of people. Max, if I could give you one piece of advice, don't know how long you've been in the industry, or anybody else for that matter. Unless you have 10 people under contract, unless you have a massive portfolio of under contracts and your business is booming, you should be prospecting 6 to 8 hours a day. It should be the main focus of what you're doing until you've built up a big enough business that it's feeding you. People often think I need to have all my systems in place before I go put people under contract. I'm going to tell you it's the opposite. Go put them under contract. I put 10 under contract my first month. And did I know what I was doing? Heck no, I didn't know what I was doing. But I made a whole bunch of money my very first month. Month 2, I was trying to figure out what to do. And I wished I had hired a coach because they could have walked me through what to do and how to handle the business and how to pay for the business. Instead, I took a full month off to figure out all the details. Month 3 went out, sold 14 homes. Took month 4 off again. So learn from my mistakes, Max. Use showing assistants. Use transaction coordinators. Use an administrative staff to handle a lot of the other side of the business, adding people to your database. It's very cheap. If you guys need a VA, I've got connections in the Philippines. You can get it done for $6 an hour, $8 an hour. But go do it and force yourself to go perform and do the things that you're getting paid high dollar amounts to perform. So, guys, we'll wrap up there unless there's any other questions out there. Next week, I'm going to start bringing some guests on to chat with everybody individually. Sahil, I need to bring you on up in Canada. Sahil just joined us on Instagram. Absolute beast in the industry. He's doing crazy well. He's in our coaching program. We'll see if I can get Sahil to come on live with me this next week from Peru and dive into some of the things that are working for him in Canada. They don't allow cold calling up in Canada. So he is building a massive business based off of door to door and finding great success. So guys, appreciate you guys being on today. Make sure you come with your questions. The whole point of me going live each and every week is to help field some of your questions. Remember to sign up for some of our courses. They're free. Come and see us live in LA, in Orlando. And then I've got the one question-based selling course. It's going to be online for everybody across the United States, Canada, the world pretty much. Join and come to that online question-based selling course. I'm going to walk through a lot of the questions you should be asking, why you should be asking them, and how that will help you improve your sales game to get to that next level. Remember, everybody that's just joining on, go find Tessa Bella and Paige Steckling, Red Suit Realtor, on all your social media platforms. Make sure you follow them. I'm going to be bringing them into the YouTube channel and helping you guys see how we need to connect with these people and build a social media presence, use investors. Red Suit does a ton of investing, And he's holding the biggest bus tour for Utah for realtors. It's going to be here in Utah next week. You ought to check that out as well. But guys, appreciate you being on today. Please reach out with any questions. I'm happy to answer and field any calls of how I can help your business get to that next level. I'm going to throw my phone number out there, 801-243-4544. Once again, thanks for being part of this channel. Thank you guys for being part of all that we do. I hope that we can give something back to you guys that's helping blow up your real estate business today. But once again, thanks for watching. We'll see you.